it's become evident to me that the entire dialectic, the entire mainstream narrative, including last night, was simply to paint the half of the country that bought into the mega bullshit as this is our real enemy. It's these lunatics on the left here. It's Ilhan Omar. It's these people who didn't even show up. Dude, it's all misdirection. It's all bullshit. Like it's all, it really is all theater.
Come cuss with Gus right here on ESW.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here. And if I seem a little bit loopy, it's because I am feverish, running high, hot fever. It's Trump fever. It was a great show last night, wasn't it, Gus? No, really, I'm running a fucking fever. It's over 100. So basically, we're here with Cuss with Gus. It's one of the funnest, like most awesome shows where you just get to bring a battering ram to all the bullshit. And I love this show. And if you go into the description, you can actually find Gus and his work for Perpetual Assets, right? So, you know, Gus, not only is he what View would call the silver-tongued Grecian, one of the most prescient commentators, social commentators of our time, he actually also helps people to control their own retirement. And there are some qualifications there, but you actually can have a lot of control over where your retirement funds go, how they go there. And if you want to find out more about it, and like I keep telling people on the show, I've had 3 family members work with Gus. They're very happy with what was done. Just go over to perpetualassets.com. It's in the description, perpetualassets.com. Also, we have the free algo giveaway for Algo Factory. It's a paid sponsor. It's where I personally built an algo where you just see me do it on a video from scratch. And it's short. It doesn't take very long. This is not as complex as people think. People hear algorithms and they think fucking thick glasses and supercomputers. It's nothing like that. So check that out. You can see me build it, see me turn it into code, show you the tools that traders use to connect their algos to the computer so it can trade while they are not at the computer. Just got to optimize the algo first. So all that said, boy, you know what, Gus, I am pumped. Trump has me pumped. I am ready to drop bombs on Iran. I'm ready to service Netanyahu.
Neither one of us watched the entire thing, but both of us watched enough to summarize what was said. And you know, you said you got into part of it. I probably got, full disclosure, I probably got, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half in or whatever. And it was, firstly, what's concerning is my normie Republican friends, like my Trump friends from the last 10 years, who haven't followed us down the Epstein rabbit holes and the Iran rabbit holes the last year, were taken by it. They thought it was amazing. It's excellent. So it served its purpose, meaning the purpose of these, and that's why I named the avatar today as misdirection. The purpose of these people is to constantly distract us from what's actually going on, the real power. The purpose of these people is to get us. Last night, I sent it to you guys on text like a few minutes before we went live. Last night, they tried painting a face of your real problems, America, is actually this Somalian retard woman who's sitting. So the cameraman kept going to Ilhan Omar, blah, blah, blah. And although she is, in fact, a Somalian retard who's here on fraud and is part of a fraudulent scheme, she's not the actual diagnosis of our problems. She's merely a symptom of the greater problem. So back to what I've said repeatedly the last year, it's become evident to me that the entire dialectic, the entire mainstream narrative, including last night, was simply to paint the half of the country that bought into the mega bullshit as this is our real enemy. It's these lunatics on the left here. It's Ilhan Omar. It's these people who didn't even show up to blah, blah, blah. Dude, it's all misdirection. It's all bullshit. Like it's all, it really is all theater. And then you have the fucking Mossad CIA Jew from Virginia get on after and say, oh, the problem is actually Trump is Hitler. Trump is blah, blah, blah. Trump's a fascist. It's whitey. It's Christianity. So you see this nice ballet, this dance of everyone who's to blame except for the actual perpetrators of what's going. The perpetrators who are running this entire theater, this entire fiction and fantasy that we're watching. Why am I pointing out the rebuttal? And why did Schumer and the rest of them not show up last night and all the rest? It's because they have the same puppet masters, and what we're really watching is just goy slop.
Would you say that it's just as important what they don't talk about, or who they don't talk about at all?
Yeah, I mean, someone reposted a Tim Dillon thing from 2020, and we forget about this. There was a judge that the next day or the next week was sitting waiting to hear the Epstein money laundering stuff from 2020. This is 5-6 years ago. A hitman showed up at the judge's house pretending to be a FedEx delivery guy.
I remember
shot her son and her husband. That is power.
Wait. So I remember this happening, but I don't remember being connected to Epstein. So this was this was a judge who was going to rule on money laundering.
She was the judge overseeing a lot of the Epstein money moving. So there were multiple cases the last fucking 15 years, 20 years of this fucking whole thing. And she was one of the judges looking over what was being disclosed, what was the ruling, what's national security, all this bullshit. The week before she was presiding over it, a hitman showed up at her house. This was all quickly swept under the rug, but that's actual power. That's what power looks like. Power is not pointing at a Somalian retard and saying this is our fucking problem. Like she's just a symptom. She's part of her and the squad. They're just part of the theater and plan. Like, so again, we're on the cusp of starting a war in the Middle East, debasing the currency. We've recently found out who's behind all the kids vanishing around Passover. And so while they're molesting and eating them and blackmailing your politicians, we've recently found all this out. So for them to go up there and still put this theater in front of us it's like I said, people have been posting it all on X nonstop. Like, I can't believe we're not in revolution already based on the last 3 weeks of disclosures. So to my friends on the right, this is goy slop. Ilhan Omar's a nobody. They're all nobodies. Like, this is just theater. As a matter of fact, I think she's married to a fucking Jewish guy. And so this is just
she married her brother.
That was just for the fucking immigration bullshit. To my friends on the left, Trump is not only not Hitler, Trump is the exact opposite of Hitler. Trump is a slave to the Jews. Trump is a Shabbat Goyim. He's not Hitler at all. He's the exact opposite, actually. So my friends on the left, you are living in a fantasy. My friends to the right, we were also living in a fantasy. And we're simply ruled by a fucking oligarchy that operates internationally. Most of them are ethnically the same thing. And they blackmail our politicians or threaten them or whatever. This is all a fucking fantasy. This is all fiction. Everything we're watching is fucking fake. So he knows. And again, like me and you alluded to, he's not even as talented as delivering the lines anymore because he's 80. So anyone who watched last night, oh, are you tired of winning? Are you tired of... Dude, that shit played like 10 years ago. It doesn't play anymore because no one's fucking winning. Like, not only is no one winning. Yeah, not only is no one winning, but you're like a bumbling old man. It doesn't play anymore. None of it plays. Like the hockey team that went on for like, okay, that's going to solve my problems. You giving, it's like, get the fuck out. This is all goy slop. The whole thing was fucking goy slop. So, and I don't know if you saw this, but this was also hilarious. After a year, so me, you, and V, and Velas, and CJ, we have our text going, blah, blah, blah. And I just threw out the idea because, we were like, they're fucking SWAT teaming Home Depot parking lots and causing all this bullshit with ICE. And I just threw out the idea, like, why aren't they just auditing banking, Social Security, and driver's license, like DMV? Like, that would banish this immigration thing almost overnight.
Well, yeah,
And
we talked about this before.
the idea was just floated yesterday or 2 days ago. So a couple random guys on YouTube and Rumble came up with such a simple concept that it took the government couldn't come up with it on their own. Like, so all of a sudden now the idea is being floated around. I've seen it on X the last 2 days. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to start actually for the immigration stuff. We're just going to go to the banks and we want to see all the bank account. Like, really? You couldn't have done that a year ago? You had to. You had to. You're looking at waitresses, PayPal movements, but you couldn't have looked at the 20, 30 million people that don't have bank accounts here illegal. Like, so the whole thing is fucking fiction, and I can't. Despite not being me impressed with bureaucrats usually. If me and you and V could have come up with this shit, certainly they could have, right? If they were serious about it.
Yeah. We talked about this on with Nate from Valhalla VFT, and I'm like, just the employers with like the farms that employ like 4,000 of the guys in the field, just perp walk them, and give them hefty jail sentences. And now here's the thing, and this is what the reality is our economy will like literally collapse.
There's a million things that'll make this system collapse, and perhaps that's for the best.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, the point is you didn't need the optics of federal agents going after a couple random farmers or Home Depot employee or whatever the last year. All this has done is enraged the left, the libertarians, the Latinos, etc. You could have simply cross-referenced data points that you already have. These people come here and exist, and they usually send money back to their whole. So if you look at the DMV, the Social Security, and the banks, the problem would have won. You could have done this electronically. You didn't need SWAT teams in the streets. Like, so again, you're watching theater because they need us focused on each other and other goyim instead of focused on the power structure.
They never intended to do mass deportations. It was never going to happen.
Of course not.
And the reason is that the people who gave Trump the money, the donors, they own those businesses, or at least they have strong stakes in those businesses. And if he did mass deportations, they would all lose billions and billions of dollars. So you really think that they're going to allow
the melting pot theory is too important to the actual oligarchy? Meaning, what they actually fear is white Christian nationalism. So, dude, it's no fucking. This has nothing to do with the liberal world order and blah blah blah. When they take all of Western. If this would have just been happening in one or two Western countries, I would say okay. But when they are even working on people going into Australia, it's not easy to get there. So when they're
they're not just like taking a rubber skiff.
They're not just so when they're looking at diluting the populations of Canada, United States, all of Europe, Australia, New Zealand, this isn't a coincidence. This is a fucking coordinated effort to vanish white Christians. So, and listen, I travel internationally. I'm not like the white Christian. Oh, you got to be a white Christian. I don't really give a fuck. But when I realize the logic behind it, it all starts to make sense. The logic behind it is that they're afraid of the population uniting against them, and you are much more likely to unite with your own. So even our friend CJ, the ICE stuff agitates CJ more than it agitates me, because his thing is like, oh, they're targeting Latinos, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what they don't want us doing is uniting against them, and you are far more likely to unite with people who share your own characteristics. The Black community is far more likely to unite with the Black community before it unites with the Latino community. The Latino community. So they want the population divided into tribes because it's easier to control us. It's easier to conquer us.
That's the way they've always done.
Of course. So the melting pot theory, is not because they believe in diversity and inclusion and blah, blah, blah. The melting pot theory is so even if, take any population on Earth, even if a country in Africa united against fucking the Rothschilds and the fucking Mossad and Israelis, they would instantly invade and start murdering those fucking Africans. They don't give a fuck. It's the same way in Latin America and in Western countries where all those bankers are fucking based and the Mossad is based and blends in, etc. Their solution is, before it gets to that with Whitey, we need to dilute Whitey. So we need to bring in the Asians. We need to bring in the Indians. Their logic is divide and conquer. It's as simple as that. So the solution, and again, I thank them for them giving us the word. The solution is all the goyim uniting. Like, that's the solution, because it doesn't. The truth is, they don't care. They view us all as fucking retarded cattle. So, and again, if you don't believe me, simply read Confessions of an Economic Hitman. They really don't care who you are when they go in with their IMF loans.
Well, it's in their scripture, as far as if you read the Talmud, the goyim are soulless animals. That we have no souls.
Their fear is races uniting and religions uniting. Their fear is Muslims and Christians looking at each other and saying, wait a minute, are we all being played here? Like, that's their actual fear, that we look at the proper fucking enemy. That's their fear.
And that's why they import, sub 80 IQ, like Muslims from wherever, because those are not the kind who, they're just going to come here and steal. They're not going to think about uniting in the bigger picture.
Well, like I said, most people, when you open up your Western country welfare state to business, guess who you're going to get coming over? People who are seeking welfare.
Well, okay, so you just hit on it. And this is what I was going to say earlier. It's a very simple problem to solve. And by the way, if I'm going to say anything about Muslims, that there's a lot of extremely very intelligent engineers. Like, there's nothing wrong with Muslims, or they're not all. I'm saying they're importing the dumbest ones. There's like a lot of dumb people in every race, so don't get it twisted. But what I was going to say earlier is that the easiest way to fix immigration, this is so simple: get rid of the entitlements. Right. There are people in California, like thousands of immigrants, who are getting the equivalent of $1,700 a month just for being there. Now, there's others who get less. Get rid of it all. No entitlements, no jobs. You perp walk the people who are employing them. You cross-reference it so they can't get driver's license. They can't get any assistance of any kind. No remittances. You don't need the force. You don't need ICE, any of that. Not only will they go home, they will not come back. So it's a very simple thing to solve. And I've been saying this for like a decade. Mike Rivero, of all people, for those of you who even know that blast from the past, he pointed this out a long time ago. So this is not like this is not a novel idea.
No, but that's why it's, again, going back to their side of the coin, that's why it's so vital to them to not only keep the welfare state open, keep the borders open, let everyone stay, but then they incorporate their spokespeople into government, and they all look to that. So take the Somalians as an example. The Somalians look to that fucking retard to tell them, who to vote for, what to believe in, etc. I'll give you a Greek example. Michael Dukakis was the biggest fucking idiot in the fucking world. But the Greeks in 88, you united behind them just out of ethnic loyalty. So you had this fucking little hobbit from Boston going up there, total fucking retard Bolshevik. And he was, the Greeks, regardless of their ideology, and it's the same way with, you can argue the Italians did it with Kennedy because he was Catholic or whatever, but it's the same concept. So Ilhan Omar's job is to get all the Somalians that have been imported. Her job is to say, it's fucking Whitey. We got to get Whitey. Whitey's the problem. Like, so it's this constant divide and conquer. You're right, they shouldn't be here. But when they get here, the first thing they do is force feed them the fucking goy slop. Like, here's your actual enemy. They do the same thing to fucking white people. Like, it's just all fucking slop. It's like, oh yeah, it's just like, do I really think the Somalians are the power behind the throne? Like, give me a fucking break. Like, it's like, okay.
I think they're
No,
minor offenders compared to the real offenders.
exactly. Dude, V said it so fucking perfectly years ago. He's like, the welfare queens, the poor have a scam, a hustle. The rich have a hustle. It's the middle class who get fucked. So all these people who've been imported from any part of the fucking world, it's irrelevant. These people are just here to dilute our ability to unite against our oligarchs. That's it. And it's the same in fucking Europe. Like these people should have been, pick a European country, it doesn't matter. They all should have been run out. Like they should have been strung up by now. But they're just diluting the native population, dilute the native population. It's in an effort to squash rebellion before it occurs, you know. And you get to point the finger at the opposite side instead of the oligarch. So this is what I'm seeing clearly now that I didn't see 5 years ago. Like I said, my frustration in the past was with the woke. They wanted me to, think, oh, I gotta be enemies with the purple haired lesbian. The purple haired lesbian's a fucking brainwashed retard. Like, she's not in charge of anything. She.
Well, yeah, you still got it. So the problem with the purple hair lesbian is that they'll vote, and they'll like, they're still a problem. They're just not the problem.
They are not the disease. They are a symptom of it. They are the, they read all the Stein, Green, Shapiro books on getting whitey, and they bought into it. They've been fucking indoctrinated to get amazingly to get their own ancestors. They believed the little hats instead of their own ancestors. So that's what got us there. Like, so I can't. If they got us fighting amongst each other, we'll never realize that there's only one or two areas that they all agree on. Everything else is theater for us. The Iran stuff is moving forward. They agree on that, so keep that in mind in the back of your head. It's all theater. It feels good to Trump go up there and make fun of people. Like, okay, yeah, it's been funny for 10 years. It's not as funny anymore. Once, and I know we've beat it to death the last couple of weeks, but once you grasp the severity of what's actually in the Epstein stuff, it's hard for me to look at the world the same way.